Yep. You already know who it is, man. It's King Ade with the Wizards Review. And I just got a quick video. I just heard the news that the Wizards traded Rui Hachimura to the Los Angeles Lakers for 3 picks. For Kendrick Nunn and 3 second-round picks. You know what I mean? I am not happy about it at all. First reactions. It might change, as time goes on. Who knows? You know what I mean? But I just wanted to get on here real quick and state my initial reactions to this surprising. Well, I'm not going to say surprising. It's not like surprising because it's been on the table. It's been a lot of talk about him getting traded. So we as Wizards fans shouldn't be surprised that he got traded. You know what I mean? But to see the compensation that the Wizards received for Rui Hachimura, this is why the fans get mad at this organization. You know what I mean? This is why the fans get angry with this organization. You know what I mean? So before we start with the things I don't like about the trade, I'm not even going to say I like anything about it. It's just more about being real about what's going on in regards to the financial implications. And I just believe, for myself, I think the reason they traded him was to free up some money to re-sign Kyle Kuzma in the offseason, which, in my opinion, needs to happen. We do need to re-sign Kyle Kuzma. So if trading Rui Hachimura was necessary in order to keep Kyle Kuzma, then that's what had to be done. You know what I mean? So from that angle, I'm not angry at the trade. I'm not angry at the trade overall. So to be clear, you know what I mean? I'm not happy about the trade, but I'm not angry about the trade as well. You know what I'm saying? But one thing, there's no guarantee that Kyle Kuzma is going to re-sign to the Washington Wizards in the offseason. You know what I mean? Now, he is having his best season of his career here. The fans love him in D.C. He's done big things in regards to hitting a lot of clutch shots. He's shown his work. So he should see a lot of positives to staying in Washington, D.C. You know what I mean? If we could pay him the money that he wants, I'm not even going to say, I can't say that, but he knows what he has in D.C. Kyle Kuzma knows what he has in D.C. You know what I mean? So for him to leave D.C., in my opinion, wouldn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? To be honest, it wouldn't make sense for him to leave the city. All right. But secondly, just from the Wizards standpoint, you know what I mean? It's like, this reminds me of when KD was a free agent and the Wizards did all these things to hopefully sign KD, and KD didn't even take a meeting. You know what I mean? They hired Scott Brooks. They hired one of KD's old high school coaches to this coaching staff. All this stuff they did with the anticipation that they're going to sign Kevin Durant, or even had a chance to sign Kevin Durant. You know what I mean? Now, the Wizards do have a better chance of signing Kyle Kuzma because he's on the team already. Again, he already knows what he has in Washington, D.C. They have a better chance than they did of signing Kevin Durant. You know what I'm saying? So I understand it from that standpoint. But to do this trade with as if it's going to happen, as if it's guaranteed that he's going to be signed, is, you know what I mean? You can't really do that. So I'm not really happy that they made a move without knowing for sure Kyle Kuzma is going to sign with the Wizards in the offseason. You know what I mean? I don't like that. I don't like that there's a potential that we don't get anything from this trade. You know what I mean? Secondly, out of all the draft picks, the last 4 draft picks that the Wizards have made in the first round, we're not even talking about the second round. We're talking about the first round draft picks that the Wizards made, the last 4. Denny, Rui, Corey Kispert, Johnny Davis. Out of all 4 of those picks, the one that has been showing the most potential has been Rui Hachimura. You know what I mean? So I guess you could say, well, he's been the hottest of the 4, so he had the most trade value, which I could understand. You know what I mean? But you draft with the hopes of being able to keep the drafted players in-house. The Wizards have done a terrible, terrible, terrible job of drafting. You know what I mean? Like, who has been an impact player besides John Wall, besides Bradley Beal, you know what I'm saying, that the Wizards have drafted in the first round that you're like, he's a game changer? You know what I mean? Who? You know what I mean? We can't trust this front office with first round picks, let alone second round picks. So they get 3 second round picks that you don't even know. You know what I mean? Like, the Wizards aren't the type of team that can spot a Jokic in the second round. You know what I mean? They're not the type of team. They're not even the type of team that can spot a Giannis in the mid round of the first. I mean, the mid part of the first round. They can't spot a Kawhi Leonard in the mid round, the mid part of a first round. So we can't even trust who they draft or what their plans are in regards to the draft. They probably package up some of these second round picks to try to, make another trade to get some cash considerations or bring another piece in or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because the Wizards are infamous for flipping draft picks, future capital, you know what I mean, for present players that don't bring a big impact to the team or they don't last with the team for a long period of time. You know what I mean? So we can't trust the front office in regards to what they're going to do and with the draft picks. You know what I mean? So that's not a good look. I'm not really happy about that. You know what I'm saying? Rui Hachimura, his last game, literally the last game he played before the trade, he drops 30 off the bench. 30 off the bench. So for this season, who are going to have to replace him off the bench? Kendrick Nunn is a point guard. So what? Are we going to insert Kendrick Nunn into the starting lineup for Monte Morris? Are we going to use Kendrick Nunn? Is he going to be the second point guard instead of DeLon Wright, which plays very well off the bench, the second point guard? We have a nice third point guard with Jordan Goodwin. So what? Is he just out of the rotation? Well, we do know that he's on that 2-way contract. So maybe that's part of their thinking, because they know that they're not trying to bring him up, which we as Wizards fans think they should just sign him to a full-length contract, which would be cheaper than a lot of deals for the veteran point guards that are in the league. It may be cheaper to sign Jordan Goodwin full-time rather than pay Kendrick Nunn. Who knows? I don't know the specifics of that. You know what I mean? So maybe that's what they're thinking. Or Kendrick Nunn might just get waived like, a lot of teams do when they sign players. You know what I mean? Who knows what they're going to do if Kendrick Nunn is going to be a part of what the Wizards are trying to do. You know what I'm saying? But one thing I do know is he's not a forward. He's not replacing Rui's position. You know what I mean? So we traded away our best player off the bench. I don't know what they're going to do off the bench now. I don't know where Kendrick Nunn is going to be in the rotation. So I don't really understand the thinking. You know what I mean? I don't understand that. You know what I'm saying? So at first, again, I'm just going to wrap this up real quick. My first reaction to the trade was, we already knew it was going to happen. They probably did it with hopes of re-signing Kyle Kuzma in the future, so they need to free up cap space, which makes a lot of sense, you know what I mean? But to trade your best player, hold on. Okay, my fault. Okay. To trade our best player off the bench, the best rookie that they've drafted, the best draft pick that they have drafted in the last 4 drafts, for Kendrick Nunn and 3 second-round picks, which we know the Wizards draft history is terrible, and they trade away their best prospect out of the last 4 years. Tommy Shepard, man. Mr. Ted Leonsis, this man's job better be on the clock, man. The results of the end of the season better determine if Tommy Shepard stays with the Washington Wizards organization as the GM. Because right now, this track record, this trade is not, whatever you say about Rui, because yes, he has been inconsistent, but there's no denying that he has been getting better. You know what I'm saying? There's no denying that he's our best player off the bench this season. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. I don't know what to think right now. You know what I'm saying? But I just had to get on here, state my initial thoughts to the trade, which I'm not really happy about. I understand it from some standpoint, but on other aspects, you traded away the best draft pick that you guys had in the last 4 years. You traded away our best bench player that just dropped 30 the other night off the bench, leading scorer off the bench. And you bring in another point guard, although we have 3 on the roster. See, this is what the Wizards, this is why the fans are so frustrated with the front office, because it just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense to do this trade other than to try to keep Kyle Kuzma at the end of signing for an extension, although there's no guarantee that he even wants to stay in the DC. He says all the right things in the media, but they all do. They all say all the right things in the media. You know what I mean? I'm just, again, Mr. Ted Leonsis, the results of the end of this season, if we don't make the playoffs, if we go into a terrible losing streak again, and we have no points coming off the bench, Tommy Shepard, man, he can't be the GM moving forward. We gave him a chance. He traded away the best draft pick that he's picked. You know what I'm saying? This is, I don't want to say frustrating. That's not the word. You know what I mean? Perplexing. That could be the word. There's other words. I won't say frustrated because, again, I understand it. But there's no guarantees. And that's the problem. That's the part that I have the biggest problem with. Is Kyle Kuzma it's no guarantee that he's going to stay with the Washington Wizards. You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens. You know what I'm saying? But I know a lot of fans. There's fans that are on both sides of the fence. You know what I mean? There's a lot of fans that are like, good. He's inconsistent. He gets hurt. He doesn't have good vision. He only sees the rim, tunnel vision to the rim. Can't see teammates open. Doesn't pass well. His defense can be subpar at times. Those are, the detractors of Rui. Those are those that are like not mad that he is traded. And then there's those that, he's our best scorer off the bench. He just dropped 30. He's definitely getting better. He's definitely getting more consistent. He's definitely showing more aggression. We definitely see the upside. He's definitely the best draft choice that we've had in the last 4 years. Why would you trade him away? There's people in that side of the camp too. You know what I mean? So if I'm going to lean on one end of the spectrum or the other, right now, I'm more towards I see the upside. I see the potential. I see he's the best player on the bench. And I see that he's helping us. But we are not in the playoff picture right now. I think we're in the 11th seed right now. So, as good as he has been as the improvement that he has been showing, it hasn't all the way helped us get wins, solidified us in the East in the playoff positioning. You know what I mean? So, but right now, I will still lean towards, I'm not all the way at the end of the spectrum of being upset that he was traded, but I'm more not happy that he was traded than I am happy. I will say that at this moment. Now, I might change. I have the right to change my mind as time goes on. Maybe the Wizards know something that we don't know as fans, but based on their track record, I think we know more than they do. You know what I mean? So, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think the compensation, I think Rui's going to become a good player. I don't know all-star. I'm not sure about that, but he's going to be definitely a good rotational player. And I think he's worth more than 3 second-round picks. He's definitely more valuable than a Kendrick Nunn. You know what I'm saying? I do know that, and I feel that we could have got better if better compensation if maybe we shopped around a little bit, man. So, again, man, I'm not happy about the trade. I'm not angry about it. I'm perplexed. It's surprising, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? So anyway, man, I had to just get on here. I usually only talk about games, but this was such a big trade. We kind of knew that it was coming, but for it to come after Rui just dropped 30, you know what I mean? It's just crazy to me. You know what I mean? It's just crazy to me. So anyway, man, that's my time. I got to get back to work, you know what I mean? But anyway, man, if you enjoyed the content, man, I would really appreciate you guys subscribing to the channel at The Wizards Review on YouTube. You can follow us at Wizards Review. You can follow me, King God ADMV, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and on NBA 2K23 on the Xbox Series X and S. You know what I mean? So until tomorrow, our next game, you know what I mean? I'll see y'all then. All right, take care. Peace.